Hey everyone, I am Dan O'Callaghan. Welcome to Do Art with Dan. This is part 2 of a little old drawings tour and critique that I'm doing. This one's predominantly aliens and robots and shit. It's a little bitter. No reference, just a random thought I had. A bit messy with the Copics as usual. Continuing on with more alien designs and whatnot. Yeah, I really like the green and the red and the purple, and I love playing with these shapes, like the silhouette there of the face. So I like the strokes that I've got there. Yeah, nice little alien portrait. Maybe the Copics, I could blend them a bit better for sure. Yeah, this one's not coloured in. No reference for this, but I probably had just seen that Rango movie. I liked the characters in that, the anthropomorphic characters. It was very cool, like mixing that with the Western vibe. I loved that. Got a little bit of anatomy practice, and you'd be surprised how much these sort of, making circles within circles, and this stuff really does help with warming up for your drawings and whatnot. So yeah, if you're ever feeling like, oh, my pencil, my line work is really stiff and I just can't get into it, and try this stuff. Yeah, like, this isn't even a very good example, but like, doing circles and making shapes, and do a whole page of that. Yeah, oh, there's more on the back here, yeah. Even drawing straight lines, and just, not doing it, but doing it like, relax, loosen the wrist, and just using your elbow. Yeah, where the fuck is a pencil? Just... yeah, it's good for you. And you're trying to create the same space in between the lines. Went a bit bigger there, and then come back in, and yeah, all that sort of stuff. And then I was trying to draw Spider-Man, practicing for drawing a little Spider-Man piece, I guess. Yeah, there you go, more Spider-Man. I guess a finished piece may be coming up. Measuring the heads, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, yep, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's about standard. Steam City. I think I had a reference for that. I'm not sure, just random. What do we got here? Lumiowick. The Lost Lighthouse. This is an idea I had for a children's picture book. I don't know if it'll happen. We'll see. There's another little sketch, The Lost Lighthouse. I just liked how that title looked and sounded, and had this sort of like Howl's Moving Castle idea to it. So I don't know, maybe that will still happen one day, who knows. I think watching a Jake Parker SVS Learn tutorial, that's what this was. Yeah, I had like a month subscription to it, and I watched like 50 videos in that 1 month. I've got 2 A4 booklets back there where I just drew and drew from those courses. They're really good actually. Video not sponsored certainly, but yeah, there's a lot of good, Schoolism, SVS Learn, a lot of good online art courses out there, and I've had a go at doing some of them, and yeah, I'd recommend it for sure. Another little practice of a dude. What's this? Cartoony faces and drawing a lady there. She's a bit stiff, and of course I'm pressing way too hard with the lines there. That was when I went to the zoo, doing some practice of animals, playing around with cartooning of the face. There's this, this is where Disney characters tend to start apparently. It's sort of the 2-circle shape. This smaller one is supposed to be smaller. But yeah, what do we got here? We got, yeah. That sort of thing. Yeah, so, typically I just do the, the ball with a sort of a chin thing like that, and, the mouth line, the eye line, That's sort of how I'll start a sketch. But another way of doing it is this style, which is sort of bigger circle and then a little circle. Yeah, get that cartoony vibe. There we go. Yeah. Let's move on, shall we? Dun, dun, dun. Little Captain Marvel piece. Another fan art piece. That was that, what's it called? I'll bring a screen up of what this is. But yeah, it was a Netflix movie that came out like 2 years ago maybe, yeah. I was like, ooh, yeah, some of the designs in that are really cool. I'm gonna redraw it. Definitely could work on the inking. I probably rushed it a bit as usual. It's a bit scrappy, but I like the composition. I mean, it's all right, you know, very central composition, sort of shum, shum. I don't know how well it directs the eye around the page, but yeah, it does a semi-decent job. Yeah. Predator. Yeah, I'd definitely seen the original and then gone out and seen the newer Shane Black movie that had just come out. I was like, oof, yeah, gonna draw the whole thing, and having this like detailed Predator standing up there and then just totally black shadowed, just the eyes showing of Schwarzenegger. There is a scene in the movie that's vaguely like this. I've sort of, you know, messed around with it. I was also reading Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder Batman comics at the time, and he does these really cool silhouetted Bruce Wayne Batman pieces. He just, yeah, draws eyes and everything else is black. Ta-da! Got a bit of Spider-Man. I think I did this one before this one. Yeah, just trying to practice getting that vibe of Spider-Man and getting the subtle shapes of the mouth and the whole, you know, getting the whole thing. You can see here I've done these other drawings and I was like, no, that shape's not right. That shape's almost there, but it kind of looks like it's just like a face mask. Full head. This was, you know, got those tension lines at the brow. And I liked how the lens came up with the blue. At this point, I was like, yeah, I'm nearly there. All right, full piece. Yeah, this is not bad, but it definitely needs some work. Definitely could be better. This black line is so damn thick. What else have we got? Ooh, yeah. I remember I did this one probably the next day, around the same time as the Spider-Man. Yeah, he's pretty neat, but his proportions are a bit off and he's a bit stiff. I was in a phase where I was struggling to draw superheroes. Superheroes that I really love, like Spider-Man, Batman. I have this thing where I'm like, oh, I just can't draw these guys in my own style in a way that I really like. But no, I like the composition of the bat signal shooting up behind him, the snow globs, and the Wayne Tower. It's not perfect, but it's kind of neat. Final Space, I really enjoyed the first season. This is probably like 2 years old even. There's a line there. I can't remember what it was. I'll put it up on the screen. I haven't watched the second season yet. Yeah, could definitely go thinner with the inks. This was for an old Inktober. Venom had just come out probably. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, just messing around with ink. Another Inktober had this cool wispy vibe going on. Robot Dude, yeah, that was also the Inktober 2018. Just loose, I don't even think I penciled that, I just inked it. I never seem to finish the Inktober. I think there was 1 year, maybe last year it was, no, I can't remember. There was 1 year where I went all the way to the end, I think. Oh, Hilda, yeah, this is a cool show on Netflix. Felt like doing a little Hilda piece after I'd watched the show. Definitely could have gone thinner with the ink. What's this? Would have had a reference for that. It's not perfect, but yeah, it's good practice. Getting the shapes and that of a mechanical object. This was for an old Inktober. This is pretty snazzy. Sort of a cartoony, simple vibe. I'm seeing this in some of my trees and my hair, you know, curly haired characters and whatnot, but also the trees. This weird curly cloud-like shape. And the lines of the inking are way too thick. I think, yeah, I gotta work on that. For sure. But yeah, this guy's got an interesting-esque design. He's definitely way out of proportion. Look at that arm. Look at how big and long that arm is. Got an Elvis, but yeah, I love doing these caricatures sometimes. They're just a good release of creative energy for me, and often I'll do these before doing something more serious, just to knock out a bit of, to loosen up the old drawing muscles. Dan's daily drawings. Yeah, I think I announced that I was going to try and do daily drawings and post them every day on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot. And looking at all these pieces, I'm thinking, I'm thinking I might like to jump back into doing daily drawings. I like how I just did grey tones on this one with the Copics. I think the direction of light and where the shadows are falling, it's still pretty vague, which is not that great. I should definitely define the features of these faces a bit more, but again, it's just good practice, trying different strokes. This is an imagined piece, just coming up with crazy ideas, trying to get the brain activating some creative concepts and designs. So doing daily drawings like this is wonderful, not just for developing your pencil skills and your inking skills, but also just exercising your imagination and putting what's in your head down onto the page. Getting a grasp of like what sort of original characters you might come up with. And expanding that and not just being limited to certain genres. So doing a bit of lucid illustration where you're not really coming at it with a plan but just visually vomiting, you might say, it gets those creative juices flowing and coming up with bizarre... Yeah, I mean, this is weird. I don't know what the hell I'd use it in, a comic book or whatever. It's just a random drawing. But the point of it is that doing this on a daily basis will get you thinking in more original, strange ways, and then merging that with a story can yield some interesting results for fresh comic book stories and whatnot. Speaking of fresh comic book stories, this is my first comic book series. This is Flower Face. I think in a previous video I showed you a sculpture that I did of him. I did this for a Kickstarter that I did, and that was successful. My first Kickstarter, which was pretty awesome, for Descendant of the Nephilim, the 4-issue collection. I thought the idea of having this mutated living flower smoking and having a lot of attitude and everything was just kind of a neat idea. So he's the little demon who sits on the main character's shoulder and taunts him and causes all kind of havoc in the story. This is another sort of imagined idea, just sitting on a train or having an afternoon sketch or something after work or whatever. I think that, this is like 3 years old. I don't know what it's still doing in this drawer on my desk. So this is definitely X-Wing inspired from Star Wars. I've drawn this as a way to understand the aesthetic pleasure of these images a bit more and what it is that makes these designs so cool. I think you grasp that a lot more when you actually go out and draw those things in pop culture that are resonating with people. And then this character from a book called, I think it was called Reborn, from Mark Miller, is it? And Greg Capullo did the art. Yeah, just had read that comic book series and wanted to scratch out their lead character. I think it's a bit different. I might have altered the outfit a little bit, but the helmet and the face definitely influenced by them. Yeah, cool imagined character that I came up with, just sitting on a train, I would say, coming home from somewhere. Loved it. Loved this whole skinny dog anthropomorphic vibe with the sci-fi gun and jetpack and everything. Yeah, love it. It's cool. Oh, this was actually for experimenting with different shapes and the circular shape and the triangle and the squares, trying to find character in those basic shapes. More sort of imagined characters. This is, again, using different shapes like rectangles and circles to find something interesting. I really like his legs, actually. You can see I sort of tried to have like the calf and then the internals exposed as well. It's pretty neat. And there's nifty little drones fluttering about trying to subdue the dangerous robot. That was from Finding Dory, just messing around with ink. Yeah. Another little experiment, doing a weird Batman samurai logo thing. Yeah, just a random sketch for fun. I think this is for Inktober. Yeah, just another fun little piece. doing some characters in a weird, different kind of way. I was also playing Monster Hunter, the video game at the time. Yeah, she's a cool character actually. She should have been in Monsters Inc. Huh? Bit violent though, I would say. Poor Mike Wazowski. So I got a cool little adventurer here, kind of like a dwarf Hobbit-esque character. Got the big sword that's half his size and shoulder pads, and yeah, just a classic sort of adventure fantasy character. Like having a little crystal on the hilt. I don't know why there's lightning there, it's just messing about. Got the tattoos. The eyes could definitely do work. They haven't got the whites in the eyes. They need that. And that little messed up scar under his eyelid, that's a bit much, I think, in the scar. I could have dialed that back a bit, but I probably made some inking mistake, I'm sure. Yeah, that kind of fixes it a little bit of white in the eye. But yeah, I mean, it's just a fun little sketch again. Got teal and orange happening. I haven't blended the Copics well up here, which is a bit annoying, but I had a go. This is probably 3 years old or something. But having an environment is something, and like, I think the character and the structure and the background are sort of blending together well, so that's pretty neat. Bit scratchy, but you know, it's a Western-esque character. I think the scratchy ink probably suits her pretty well. Yeah, just another fun little sketch. Smashing out a cool little Lamborghini. It's a hyper cartoony version of an Aventador or something, probably. Yeah, I like the grey and the blue. But again, the Copics aren't blended especially nicely, so I have to work on that. And I don't know why his hand is not greyed out a bit more. I mean, it gives me confidence that I can draw cars in a cartoony fashion. I would have had a reference, I'm sure, just to get the placement of panels and everything in the right spot. And I love this grille under here, it's so cool, and just it's a very aggressive car. Yeah, it's neat. Yeah, I mean, the blacks and all this are pretty scratchy up here, and it's, you know, it's a bit unkempt and a bit unclean, but I really love this composition, and like the way that the eye follows down here and tracks, and got this weird, he's not a cyclops, he's more like he's got 4 eyes or whatever actually. He's a 4 eyes. But yeah, practicing the muscles, and then you've got the tentacles. I just had an urge to draw a sort of Greek-esque character fighting some tentacly creature and having slime, and yeah, I also like the colour choices here. Maybe not the wings, they're a bit scraggly and a bit rough, but the reds and the greens and the brown of his sandals, they sort of work together well. That shield is a bit off in its shape. It could be drawn a bit better. I do like the slime dripping off the sword. That's pretty neat. But yeah, I mean, if I drew a character like this today, I'm sure it'd be a lot tighter and a lot cleaner drawn. That was probably from like, whoa, that could have been 5 years old. I remember this dude doing another weird character with 4 arms and trying to come up with something interesting. I really like the colour mix of the little freckles that are pink and then the blue skin tone and yellow shorts and everything. There might be one too many colours on this, but yeah, he's got a cool vibe. This would be a cool villain, I think. Boingy Boingy Man or whatever the hell. His claws are pretty neat, and his red hoodie. Ink power! Another hashtag I'm trying to get going that nobody took interest in. This would have been during an Inktober, probably from a few years ago. Yeah, neato little tattooed dude. His proportions are probably all out of whack, but then he is pretty caricatured. Ooh, we've got some weird ideas for stories and that. Probably just messing around. Elderly mutant ninja fish. We've got a neat little Inktober piece that I did. I went ahead and coloured them because I was practicing the Copics. Yeah, a bit rough as usual. But yeah, I loved Kingdom Hearts when I was a kid. That was such a fun game. Again, Inktober piece. Definitely did this for the composition and for the interaction between the characters. That was what I was prioritizing. I mean, the inking isn't so bad. It's pretty good, right? I really love this piece. This was a Inktober piece from last year. I liked how I did the environment and the trees. The leaves are looking a little tiny bit better than those previous ones that I was doing. The tree trunk and the tree house definitely looks awesome, and I love how the dad and then the kid and the sister and that are sort of telling a story in this one image. And then we've got Batman from my first YouTube video. So yeah, that's a little drawer of old drawings. Some of them are a bit dodgy and some of them are pretty neat and some of them have some cool ideas. I think there's a lot of fan art in there, and I'm thinking I'm gonna go back to doing daily drawings. Not necessarily for daily videos, I don't know if I can handle that just yet, but I'm going to be uploading to Instagram and Facebook. I'm thinking I'm going to lean towards doing original characters with their own environments and concepts and whatnot, just to get that creative side of my mind working a little bit more regularly. Every morning I think I'll spend like an hour doing one of these drawings before I jump into writing my next comic book or whatever that I'm doing throughout the day. But hey, this has been fun. I hope you've enjoyed watching me go through my tour and a light critique of my old drawings that I've been doing over the last few years. I definitely want to up my production of cool pieces and do a hell of a lot more writing and drawing this year. I'm not sure what kind of video I'm going to be doing next week, but I want to do more and more videos that are really helpful to you, and like, you know, how to draw videos, how to sculpt videos. If you're inspired and excited to do art with Dan, then please subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Or rather, you'll see me and I'll be here drawing pictures and sculpting and all that. But it'd be awesome to get more comments and interact with you guys. Alright, see you guys.